Hello everyone, you are welcome to the second section of our storage mode class. In the first session, we've spoken about the import mode and the direct query mode. In the third section, we'll be talking about the dual mode. The dual mode is also referred to as the composite mode. It's a distinct mode that combines the benefit of import and direct query mode. Now, this is used in cases whereby you want a table to perform the function of an import mode, and also you still want the table to perform the function of a direct query mode. Now, the composite mode is best suitable for hybrid model with frequent and infrequent use data. Also, it is suitable for large enterprise model with mixed fresh needs. Example is that you have a table that is in import mode and a real-time inventory data, and you also have another table that is in direct query mode. Now let me give you a very practical example of how this works. Take for instance, let's say you have a sales file table. The sales file table consists of high level of granularity. What I mean is that it consists of a very detailed data. For instance, daily transactions of an organization, daily operations of an organization is always going into the sales file table. However, for many stakeholders, senior managers, what they are interested is how you will take these daily details and then consolidate it. In consolidating it, you will then need to arrive at what you call an aggregation table. So an aggregation table is a table that has been summarized or consolidated on the basis of what we have in the sales file table. Now, for better understanding of how this works, let me walk us through the practical section. So I'm going to be taking some set of data from SQL Server, and then we will be importing them to Power BI so that we can understand this concept very well. So let me go to SQL Server. Now I'm going to be using this table, the sales aggregate and the sales dimension. Mind you, remember that in the last class, this is our sales file table which we imported. We imported this using the import mode and the direct query mode. But let me explain something to us here, that in many instances, because of the size of your fact table, your fact table will always be in direct query mode. Fact table will always be in direct query mode, and simply because it's always very large. Every daily transaction comes into your fact table. However, the aggregation table, which we have here, is actually a summarization of what we have in the sales file table. Now, if you look at my screen, you will discover that I wrote some SQL script here, which gives us the summarization or the aggregation of what we have from the AW sales table. We have the product category ID. We extract our year from other dates, our month from the other dates. Then we sum up all the unit price and we rename it as overall price. We sum up all the quantity and we call it total quantity at the same time as all the sales. So if I execute this gives me this results, and I created a view for this, and the view is called sales aggregate. So what I am querying here is I query the view which I have here and which is giving me the same thing. So if I execute everything I have here now, select asterisk from sales aggregate, then I have all the aggregation in this form. So what we are going to do is we are going to put our sales aggregates in import mode. Why do we do that? Because many times your aggregation table will be a table that is being aggregated either monthly, quarterly, yearly, or weekly. It's not something that you do daily. So it can be weekly, it can be monthly, it can be quarterly, based on stakeholder requirements. Then we also have another table which is our dimension table, and we call it the product category dimension. So what we want to do with this dimension table which we have here is that we want to connect this dimension table to an import table called the sales aggregate table, and at the same time to a direct query mode table called AW sales. So I'm going to go into Power BI and then show us how this works. So if I come to Power BI, mind you, remember we've imported our sales file table in the first section. I showed us how we can import this sales file table. So these data are almost the same set of data. So I can delete this. I'll delete this. I'm going to delete the second one. So I'll then have just only one sales file table. So what we need to do now is to first bring in our aggregation table, and we already have the aggregation table here on our SQL server. I can come to get the data here and I click on SQL server. When I click on SQL server, then I can then type in the server name. So I'm going to come to my my SQL server here. I'm going to disconnect and connect this again just to copy my my server name. So I'm going to copy the server name. I click connect. Then I go to my Power BI desktop, paste my server name here. Then the database name is HIIT underscore cohorts. So since I'm bringing in my my aggregation table, like I said, your aggregation table must be in import mode. So I click import and I click OK. When I click OK, so it's connected. Then I will now click on sales aggregate, which is here. This is a view, and I'll click transform data. When I click on transform data, everything looks okay, everything looks good. Since everything is okay, I can then click close and apply. When I click close and apply, now I have my sales aggregate table loading, and then we have it here. It's been loaded. You can see my sales aggregate is showing import mode. Now another thing I want you to take note of is also the signs beside the sales aggregate. You can see this sign that shows this two arrow direction, and this two arrow direction indicates that this is a direct query mode, and it also shows that there's an interaction between what I have here from the source. Why this is a sign that shows an import mode. Just take note of that. Now the next thing we need to also bring in is to bring in our dimension table. So I'm going to come to this get data here. I'm going to click SQL server. Then I type in my server name. Then I also connect to my database. I connect to my database. Now you can see that from the data connection mode here, we don't have a dual mode. However, so what we will do is that we will first bring in the data as a direct query, then change the mode from direct query to a dual mode. So we can switch from direct query to dual mode, but if we bring in the data as an import mode, we will not be able to switch to dual mode. So we first bring in data to dual mode. Now I'm going to show you this advanced option. This advanced option simply means that if I'm connecting to this server and to this database, then I can basically write an SQL statement to extract the data I want to use. Already I have my data here. Select asterisk from sales aggregate, which is here, and I have the dim table. The dim table is the dimension table which I want to use. So I can just copy this SQL query and then go back to my Power BI desktop and paste it here. When I paste it here and I click OK, when I click OK, this is the table, and I click transform data, and then I can rename it. I will rename it. You can see the name here is showing query 1. I'm going to rename it as product cart dim, and then I'm going to click close and apply. So when I click close and apply, it's loading. It has loaded successfully. So I have my product category dimension table. You can see what I have here. You can see what I have here. So now look at this, the sign between this same sign again. You can see this two arrow showing that this is in direct query mode. However, what I want to do is to put this product category dimension table into a dual mode. So I'm going to come to properties here. I'm going to click on this data. I'm going to click on it here. Then I'll come down here. I will see what I call advanced, and from the advanced, I'll definitely see dual mode. So I can switch from direct query to dual. Mind you, if you put it in import mode, you won't be able to switch it back to what? To either direct query or dual mode. So that's why we bring in this data as what? As direct query mode. So I will now click dual. When I click dual, I click OK, and I click OK. Now you can see the sign for the dual. You can see while we have the tool arrow, then we have the blue line with some forms of dash. So whenever you see that sign also, it then shows that your table has been imported as a what? As dual mode. So what we need to do is that we needed this information, this table, to be connected to this and to be connected to this. So that we can have access to the product category and product color. So when we connect these two together, that means we've built a what? A data model within them, because they have something in common. Now, what do they have in common? If you check product category ID here, we also have product category ID here in our sales file table, and we also have product category here in our what? In our aggregation table. Mind you, remember what I said, that our aggregation table is a product of, is a summarization of what we have in our sales file table. So I'm going to drag this and connect this here. I'm going to connect it to product category ID. Then I'm going to click save. When I click save, you can see that one-to-many relationship has been established. This is one, and we have this asterisk shows that one-to-many, then one-to-many relationship. Then I will also drag this and drag this here also, and I will also save also. Then we have another one-to-many relationship being connected here. Now with this, this product category dimension table can easily function as a what? As a direct query table by connecting to this sales file table, and at the same time it has also functioned as an import mode to this what? Sales aggregation table. Now I'm going to stop here, and I'll say that you should stay tuned for more insightful video from Techie Academy, and just stay with us as we bring in more interesting topic to you, on our page. Stay blessed and enjoy your day.